Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of Combat Room MMA. Today we're joined by one of my best guests so far, Alex Bruce Lee Caceres, a UFC veteran who's fought the names of Kron Gracie, Uriah Faber, Michael Johnson. Uh, Alex, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, and yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. I'm really excited for this episode. So, what have you been up to today?
I just got done with some sparring. It was a sparring day today, so we just got into the gym and just, did a little training.
Even when you're not training for a MMA fight, how does that change for your normal fight camp?
As in training wise,
Yeah.
I just do the same thing. I train. I I don't necessarily like. I guess a big misconception is like I do fight. I did fight for the UFC. I fight for organizations and stuff. I am a Sportesian fighter when it comes to like fighting, but I'm a martial artist when it comes to being myself. So to me, it never changes. To me, fighting is something that I do to make money, fighting professionally, that is. But martial arts is something that I do as a lifestyle. So my training always continues.
So, initially, how did you even begin training as an MMA fighter? How did you evolve through the martial arts?
Well, I guess if we start from the beginning, it started off with my dad wanting me to learn how to defend myself and fight. So he just basically just showed me how to exercise and like some basic punching techniques and showed me a lot of Bruce Lee movies and I got and then I got interested in martial arts. So I think it was around high school. In the beginning of high school is when I actually started dabbling into more martial arts. I joined the wrestling team, and then shortly after, I joined a mixed martial arts gym and started doing kickboxing and jiu-jitsu as well.
So, self-defense you're talking about. So, well, you picked on a lot in school.
Only once ever, and that's where it stopped. I got bullied my first day at school, and so um, when I got back home, I told my dad about it. My dad beat me, and then he told me to not let it happen again. And then he showed me some things to do, and then showed me some movies, and then just told me to be tough. And so the next day, I went in there and I beat the guy up, and then I got in trouble. But when I went home, my dad bought me a yoo-hoo, so I'm like, oh, that's cool. So I just started not being I never, it's not that I like fighting. I never like looking for fights, but I understood that, sometimes you have to fight in order to to maintain the peace.
Because, on your first fight on the Ultimate Fighter season, you said, "Oh yeah, I used to fight a lot in middle school or high school." So, what
Yeah.
was that all about?
Well, I was always a small guy. Growing up, I was always like the smaller kid in high school and middle school. So I guess there's a lot of people that like to try and take advantage of the smaller kids. And I just never shied away from a fight. So when they started bullying me, I'm gonna hit you first and talk later.
So, do you think that shaped you into who you are today? Because, you seem like a pretty chill person, it's like a different persona.
Well, like no, like I feel like I'm always chill. Even in the fights, I'm chill. It's just I try not to take it either way. I try not to take it personally because it's something that that's just happening. So like and a lot of it I can't control. I can't control the other person being mad at me or wanting to hit me or wanting to do harm with me. I can do my best to de-escalate the situation, but sometimes the fight is necessary. So when you're in there, you got to just be chill and calm, like it's your everyday, normal, day-to-day life because we don't know the consequences of our actions, so we just got to take it kind of like a maybe. And we can't take it too hard because we will distract ourselves with thoughts of like fear or discouragement rather than just getting to task. Sometimes we just have to get to work. I always tell people I don't get angry, I just get physical.
So, when you first walked onto the Ultimate Fighter, Fighter House, did you feel like you fit in right away?
Oh, I didn't fit in at all. I was very, I guess, people always look at you as strange. But then again, like you have to understand, like I'm one of the few people. in mixed martial arts, in the sports of fighting. There's a few other there's out there like me, but we don't do it for the money. We're not doing it for the show. This is the show is just a way we can survive in society because we got to make money. But it's who we are.
Because, like, on the show, you were a bit of an outcast. So why do you think everyone hated you so much?
Well, one of my training partners actually dawned it on to me today. I was asking the question, because I've been getting into it with some people in the gym for no reason, really. I don't understand why. But then, like, he dawned it on to me today is that I guess people get angry at the fact that I don't get angry.
Yeah. I
And
think
so,
that
like,
happens with me sometimes as well,
so like the fact that like I don't take it seriously or like I'm just like whatever about it, like I can turn it up or tone it down and just be cool with it no matter what. People um think that like I guess they get angry at the fact that they perceive that my feathers are not being ruffled. It's not to say that my feathers are not being ruffled. It's just I feel the ruffling of the feathers. I just don't care to do anything about it except what I'm doing at the moment.
Because, there was that moment on the Ultimate Fighter where you did kind of have a crash out. So what led you up to that boiling point where you and that guy almost had a had a fight on the show?
Oh well, like, but the thing is, like, if you notice, I wasn't angry at all. I was just, if you wanted to be violent, I welcome your violence. You can come and be violent if you want to, but if you don't want to be violent, then your talk is cheap. It
And
means
then you
nothing.
tried and then you tried throwing the napkins at you.
Yeah, he threw a napkin at me and then I laughed at him. Oh, you fucking napkin? Like that's some commitment, like and it goes to show you that a lot of people will say a lot of things, but they're not committed. And like if I really wanted to hit you, I probably won't say anything to you. I'll just hit you. Like it's why let words get in the way?
So, was there anyone that you were actually friends with on the show? Because
Oh yeah, of course. Me and Michael Johnson were cool. Jonathan Brookins were cool. Cody McKenzie, me and him were cool. Oh, well, I got along with quite a few people.
even after the bleach,
Oh, uh, oh yeah, me and Nam Fam were still cool to this day.
I thought you were trying to prank. Wait, was it Namfam you were trying to prank with the bleach?
Oh no, I pranked everybody with the bleach. I was the whole yellow team's laundry.
What about
But then
Michael
again, they
Johnson when
did
he
they,
got caught on the cross?
but they did pranks on me and no, and then they just never showed it.
Why? What happened? What types of pranks did they do on you?
They filled my shoes. They filled my shoes all the way up to the lip, all the way up with mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise.
Yeah, mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise. Oh,
Yeah, mayonnaise. Like it's like what the fuck? Like my shoes are ruined.
oh what? You actually stepped your foot inside.
I didn't step it inside. I just saw that they were filled with fucking mayonnaise. I'm like, God damn, like you fucked up my shoes.
So do you think they tried twisting the perspective to make you look more like the bad guy?
Of course, because they did that first, and then I bleached their clothes.
Oh, so is that after?
Yeah, I would get pranked first, and then I would all my pranks were retaliation pranks.
So how much of the actual Ultimate Fight things were the best moments that you think happened that they actually cut out? Is there any notable moments?
There were some good moments. I put a dead bird in their grill, and they didn't show it
In there what?
in their grill where they make their food. They didn't show
Where,
that
where,
prank.
where do you even find a dead bird?
It was in the yard. I just found a dead bird. Like, oh shit, let's put it in their grill.
So what's the most favorite part of the Ultimate Fighter that you look back on and you're like, yeah, I like that when that happened.
I wouldn't say it's a moment. I enjoyed the experience for what it was. I was glad that I was able to see some real good high level fighters like George St. Pierre, even Koscheck and George St. Pierre's team that he brought in to train with us and everything like that. Like it was a good eye opener. I can say that after that show and training with George St. Pierre, even afterwards going to TriStar and hanging out with George and training with him, like it showed me how to be a professional fighter. Like I could say before that I just liked fighting and I like doing it just for the fuck of it. But when after I met him and do that, like I'm like, well, I can still have fun with it and still be a professional and at least make a career out of it so I don't like, just fight and waste away my life.
So, how did that call up to the Ultimate Fight actually happen? So, how did you even get your place on there?
Well, actually, my brother told me about it. I didn't even know about the UFC at the time. I was just going around fighting in backyards and stuff. And my brother's like, "Hey, man, they're having these tryouts for the UFC and the Ultimate Fighter, and they're up in North Carolina." My dad was staying up there at the time, so me and my brother took a road trip, and we both tried out for the 155. And he didn't get picked, but they picked me, and they called me up like 6 weeks after that, and invited me to Vegas.
I thought they look at your nowadays, don't they look at your fighter record and decide who goes on the show?
No, you have to do tryouts.
So you do like an actual fight and then they pick from
Not
there.
well,
Oh,
yeah, you do a grappling match, you hit some mitts, and then you do an interview, and then from there they pick like 200 people, and then from those 200 people, they have them set up for like those prelim fights, and then they break that down into like until it's like 14 people.
okay. So after the Ultimate Fighter, what's the biggest life lesson you've learned from that?
Uh, I mean, the biggest life lesson I learned from being on the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, if it comes to like, I guess in general, ultimately, I can't really tell you. It's I feel like it's an ongoing. I still look back at at those moments and still learn things from those moments as well. So it's if anything, it's just a maturing process. I feel like that's what the Ultimate Fighter, for me at least, what it meant for me was a maturing process in having not necessarily, and I don't mean maturing as being a better human being, but being a better functioning quality and maintaining yourself in society.
So with the name Bruce Leroy and you know how you've fought over the years, how did what type of mindset did you have, you know, in all your fights or outside the ring? I mean outside the octagon?
Outside the octagon,
Yeah. So like, your
well,
mentality.
well, honestly, it's the same mentality. Like I can tell you, like I've been in fights before, and I'll be thinking of like random shit. Like I've been in fights before, and I was thinking about a level in a video game that I didn't beat yet.
In the
During
fight.
the fight, yeah, like and stuff like that. I remember I brought my dog to one of the fights, and I remember I was cut open, I was bleeding on the floor, and the guy was trying to choke me out, and I was thinking about my dog in the hotel room, the whole time. You know, so like I don't know. Sometimes it's random. I'm not really in fights. It's strange for me. So it's an experience of being there and not really being there. Like I'm there, but like it's like my body and my mind are separate from who I am.
Because on the Ultimate Fight, you're meditating, doing yoga, all that, you you seem like really spiritual and all that. So how did you do that?
I really um it changes over the years. Like now my meditation and or my practices are different than they were before. I would say before I was doing it for some type of like morale or moral purpose, like oh this is divine, this is good, this is and now it deviated and changed for the fact like when I was meditating. When I first started to meditate, my goal was, as I feel like a lot of people's goal is to quiet the mind, to get into this silent place.
And you played into the mind instead.
Well, like I don't try to quiet the mind. It's more of it's more like nowadays, and I think about just relaxing the mind. Because it's something that it's a tool. It's not who I am. I relaxing the mind, not identifying with the mind. So let the thoughts run, but don't latch onto the thoughts. Or I like one of my favorite ways of meditating is sitting, especially. in nature where it's a little bit more noisy, and just sitting and letting the sound play with your ear. Don't try to identify the sound. Just let it hit you.
So you try disassociating yourself.
Well, not this is no associating myself completely, just being one with it. You know what I'm saying? Because all a part of the happening at the same time. I don't want to separate from the happening. The minute I start to identify things and differentiate things from myself, that's when I disassociate myself. The minute I say, that's the wind, oh, that's the sunlight, that's the birds chirping, that's when I start saying that's separate from me. So I just let it play
Oh,
with my
okay.
ear and I don't identify it because it's a part of my happening.
Okay. So, what's the wildest thing that you've seen in a gym that fans wouldn't never believe?
In a gym?
Yeah, in your MMA gym.
Oh man, uh, I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen anything really strange in gyms. Like just mostly
Like,
fighting and stuff.
like a wild gym story.
A wild gym story. I mean, I've had like wild sparring stories. Like I forgot it was like one of the Silvas. He used to be in the UFC. Whatchamacallit. He was a big dude. It was I think he fought
Wanderlei
at
Silva.
he fought at 205. It's not the ugly face one. He had that tattoo on his throat. Well, 1 second. Let me grab a sweater real quick, Holmes. It's a little chilly out here. I'm gonna be getting driven. So if you don't mind chilling with me in the car.
Driven.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to work. I own an IV spot with my wife.
Oh, is that what the whole live stream was about?
Yeah.
Okay. So, who was the toughest sparring partner you've had over the
My
years?
my toughest sparring partner
Yeah.
would be Benson Henderson.
He looks like a light type of guy, though.
Light?
Yeah, like, I thought he was like the flexible one just bouncing around.
Yeah, he is flexible, but he hits hard and he has heavy legs and he doesn't get tired and he's a very strong wrestler.
Was he fine with a toothpick in sparring as well?
Yes. Yep. He always has a toothpick under his mouth guard.
Or when he's taunting you, just like sticks out a bit.
No, he doesn't stick it out. But it's like he chews it up so it's not gonna stick him or anything.
So, over the years, who are some of your favorite training partners and sparring partners to have?
Well, I really enjoyed like I said before, I really enjoyed Ben Henderson being a good sparring partner.
Like, other sparring partners you had over the years.
Oh, other sparring partner. Um, well, I would have to say, hmm, I had a lot of them from the lab. I can remember like people like James Nakashima, Michael De La Torre, Randy Stanky. It's another one. Uh, I mean, there's too many to name, and I had a lot of wonderful sparring partners over the years. I've been doing it
Who
for a good long time.
who was your favorite sparring partner you've had?
My favorite, I can't really say. I feel like I learned a lot from a lot of different people. So like I appreciate all my sparring partners.
Because Yoel Romero said you taught him some like Goku type of move.
Yeah, I taught Yoel Romero a lot of stuff. He's taught me a lot of stuff. I mean, he's an Olympian for Christ's sake, so it was good to share knowledge with him. But yeah, like I said, there's always good things to learn from different people. So it's always good to just be open about it.
Did you teach him the flying knee?
The flying knee, no, I don't think so. Flying knee is pretty well known.
So, in a sport where trust is everything, did you ever experience betrayal?
uh, I guess you can call it betrayal. Like to me, it doesn't really. bother me much. If a person wants to do it, I guess selfishly, you just let them go their own way. But yeah, there's plenty of that in not just in this sport, it's in life in general, you know.
Oh, yeah. Have you ever experienced that? You
Yeah,
know, with Michael Johnson, I think that happened there as well.
betrayal. Oh, I mean, well, but then it's to say that everybody else picked me too.
What do you mean? Oh yeah, because everyone
Yeah,
else would. What was the reason behind that? Was it just because they thought you were an easy matchup, or because it just wants to, beat you up?
I don't know. You would have to ask them that.
Did you ever ask about that? Because I remember when it came to picking their opponents, everyone chose you.
No, I never was curious about that.
So you've been in a lot of the UFC games. So how does how does being in a UFC game, what's the process behind that?
I don't know. I mean, I know they took some pictures and stuff, and that's about it.
They don't have to scan your body.
Maybe for some people, but they didn't. I don't remember them scanning my body.
So did you ever play as yourself in the game?
No, I never played the game actually.
You never played the game before,
No.
bro. I think they give you like a good. They give you the jumping switch kick, and the what's it called? The one where it goes to the body and then it goes to the head. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the double
Anyways,
kick.
so in the like a lot of fighters nowadays, which one of them, which one of them do you see yourself the most in?
Um, man, I don't watch fighting.
Do you watch UFC?
Nah, I don't watch any of it. I don't watch fights. I don't watch tape. I don't watch my opponents
Why not?
because, like I said, man, for some people it's a career. It's like what they do for a job. They like the sports of it. It's for me. It's I do martial arts, so whatever or whenever or whoever the martial arts I'm doing it with, it doesn't really matter for that reason.
So what does your day-to-day life look like as a MMA fighter?
I don't know. I usually um, just do a lot of chilling, and sometimes I train and I go to work. I work on my garden, and you know, like a regular human being, I guess, a regular human being that trains every once in a while.
So you seem a lot more mature now. So like, how did that change over the years? Because back in the days you were more like hyper and all that. So how did that change happen?
Well, I
Or when
mean,
did that change happen?
I guess we're only portraying me from like clips that they show from The Ultimate Fighter, you know. So it's just like that's like a very small window and circumstantial, like I'm the type of person that yeah, like I meet the same type of energy with the same type of energy. So yeah, if you catch clips of that, then it looks like I'm just energetic most of the time. But for the most part, I was relaxed or doing my own thing. Like I said, all my pranks were pranks after I was pranked. And then I enjoy it. Like it's funny to me. Like I don't care if they prank me, but then yeah, there's gonna be retribution.
So what's the current version of Alex Caceres? Understand that the younger version of Alex Caceres didn't at the time.
That I am not in control of anything.
Is there any examples of that?
That you're well, I mean, and just that's it. That's what it is. I understand that I'm not in control of a single thing in my life.
Okay.
There is no room for self-improvement or pulling myself up from my own bootstraps.
So you're a bit
I
of a free-flowing person.
well, I wouldn't say like free flowing. Um, I guess I can use an analogy um, that I heard from a philosopher, and he says, "It's not to say not to chop wood. It's just to chop wood with the grain. It's not to say not to swim in the river. It's just swim with the current and not against it."
Okay, so you just go with the. So that's going with the flow, isn't it?
Well, yeah, you could say it's going with the flow or realizing that you're a part of the entire happening. Like, so you can't control anything because it's not you that's happening. You are a part of a happening.
Do you think you're the smaller part of like a bigger picture?
Well, like if you are a smaller part or a part of the bigger picture, then you are the bigger picture. It's just you don't realize it.
Bro, I'm confused, you know.
So, like, it's to say you only recognize yourself in the things that you can do. Like, I
Okay,
can
yeah.
walk, I can eat. But why don't you recognize yourself as you beating your heart? You say, my heart beats. You don't say, I beat my heart because it happens automatically. But you do
Okay.
beat your heart and you grow your fingernails and you grow your own hair. But you say, no, my hair grows as if it was growing out of an artifact. But you are the accumulations of all these things. Therefore, you are not separate from the bigger picture or the smaller picture. The things that happen to you are no different from the things that you are so called doing. So, do you breathe or are
Yeah.
you breathed?
Okay, I get what you mean now. I get what you mean now.
Try and hold your breath and see what happens.
Right now.
You're going to lose it.
Oh,
So, are you breathing or is it breathing you? So, when you think about it this way, you can differentiate the differences between doing and happening.
so you think everything happens like subconsciously?
Not subconsciously, it happens both consciously and subconsciously. For instance, take a car trip. You're driving with your friend right down the road. You are focused on the conversation you're having with your friend and you're responding to him. You will call this a spotlight consciousness. This is who I am. And then, but at the same time, you're able to stay in between the lines, look out for the other cars around you, and obey the laws. So this is more of a fog-like consciousness. So see, they're both on at the same time, but which one is you?
What do
Are
you
you
mean?
the one who thinks, or are you the one who observes the thoughts that are being thought?
I'm the one who
So here's another example. When you think in your head, can't you not hear it?
you just have
Can't you not hear the thoughts in your head, right?
like
But with what ears? But it's inside your head. So you're not listening it with your ears,
well, it's like I could see it, but I can't like feel it. You know what I mean? Actually, I don't know.
but you hear it clear as day in your head. If you
Yeah,
say yes in your head, just saying it in your head, you can hear it as if you heard it with your ears.
but
So
that's
now
because on the inside, innit?
are you hearing or is a hearing a part of a happening?
I'm thinking,
Are you thinking? Because you can think about your thoughts, right? So who's thinking about that?
bro. I'm not even taking any drugs, and it feels like I'm tripping right now. So, what's your favorite drug to trip on?
Huh?
What's your favorite drug to trip on?
I haven't done any of that stuff in a very long time. I've been I feel it's those are wonderful tools, but I feel like once you get the message, you don't need to pursue it any longer. There is no, it's a lot of things in life, and if I have to associate it with anything, I'll associate it with martial arts. So in martial arts, a lot of people practice certain kinds of martial arts, different types of styles of martial arts, right? Because they feel like one type of martial arts has this secret code or it has this trick that's going to trump everybody else, right? This is not true. This is mysticism. Then everybody starts believing the guy that does this one touch knockout, or he waves his hand in your face and you fall down to the floor and he can create fire. Um, ultimately, from what I've seen, the person that works harder is the person that wins. It doesn't matter what type of technique of a punch you throw, if it lands, it wins. So a lot of people, that's where Bruce Lee was talking about. He wants to use no technique as technique, no way as way. There is no restriction. because people are looking for an answer. They're looking for something complex, like they're looking for meaning, but they refuse to have it themselves.
So what's the biggest takeaway you've taken from martial arts?
Uh, I was thinking about it earlier, but I guess it's just understanding. I guess fighting so much, and it's not necessarily just martial arts, but the competition of martial arts and fighting in general. Uh, I guess it goes in like different stages. You start fighting against other people, and then you understand that once you get down to a certain level of it, you start fighting against yourself, all your habits, all your disciplines, and everything else. Then once you stop fighting against yourself, it's you realize there is no fighting. It's more like a dance. You're just being a part of a musical play. So, for instance, you're not looking for a destination or an outcome. You're having fun with it, right? With skill, performing with skill. So like listening to music, when you listen to music or a song, you're not listening to get to the ending, right?
Yeah.
You're just enjoying the song. So in that respect, and I feel like I'm trying to not only that, but now get to a place where I'm not fighting. There is no opponent, there is no me. There's just a happening, and it's just manipulating the environment.
So do you think just, your type of mindset was just to let everything happen how it is and not fight it?
Well, but like I said, it's not to say not to do anything, but when you do it with no attachments and do it with grace. So when I go into fights, sometimes I make it a practice, like to where it's almost like I leave it all up into to whatever happens, happens. I'm going to do my best, but I'm not attached to a result. I'm not hoping for a good outcome, and I'm not hoping that stay away from a bad outcome. I'm trying to embrace the moment.
So do you think, so so do you think that's why you weren't too focused on your record as an MMA fighter, like you were just going in there to have fun?
Well, for a long time, yeah, I was going in there to have fun. I felt like I didn't do too well when I tried to make it serious, when I tried to have a so-called purpose about fighting, trying to achieve something. And then when I started having fun again, or just kind of letting it be, or being in that moment, I started to find more success once again as well.
So at what point in your career were you trying to take fights more seriously?
I would say when I started, I was like probably around like 135 when I was fighting at 135 when I was like when I got ranked and I was fighting a lot more high level guys and I was trying to hold on to my victories, I guess more so, trying to like fight more smart or not taking as many risks or doing the things that, help me enjoy it. And then it became a work, it became a job.
So, there was a lot of speculation online about, your ground game weakness and in some of your fights you got choked out by a rear naked choke a lot. So how come you never how come you're never able to defend those?
Well, I mean, I felt like I defended quite a few of them in a lot of fights. It's just the ones that slipped in, got in. I finished tons of people with rear naked chokes. So it's just shit happens, It's not a hole in somebody's ground game. It's when you're fighting certain people or if you're fighting long enough, you get caught. I mean, how many rear naked chokes have I caught on people?
I think it's been like three.
Three, probably. I know I caught Sergio Pettis with one, and
Yeah.
he was supposed to be like a brown belt in jiu-jitsu at the time, but it doesn't matter. It's just I caught him at a good angle, and like everybody's high level in the UFC, and that's one thing people don't realize is that you're not fighting against a
Amateurs.
fighter or not or professionals in lower circuits. You're fighting against the best of the best, the people that make it there, and usually people that make it there are undefeated. They have perfect records because for a reason.
So
So it's not
what do you think your most impressive victory has been?
a. I feel like it would have to be. There's a lot of impressive finishes that I feel like I have, but I don't think it was a finish that would be the most impressive win. I feel like the one that would be the most impressive was when I fought Steven Peterson. I had broke my hand in the first round, and I was able to continue the fight and win the fight with a broken hand, all 3 rounds.
So how did you battle through that then? Like, did your corner know you had a broken hand?
Yeah, it happened in the first round. I was able to defend the rear naked choke and survive because he had my back at that point, and I was able to survive to the second round. And then I got to the corner and I told my coach, hey, I think my hand's broken. And he just says, which one? And I said, it's my left. And he says, don't worry, you have your other hand. I'm like, all right. And so we went back into the fight.
So how did you adjust your game plan after that happened?
Well, I didn't want him to know it was broken. So I would keep throwing it, but I was trying to aim at the body. So it didn't hurt as much.
Like throw it at the stomach or something so it wouldn't
Yeah,
hurt.
as much.
So, what's the biggest life lesson you've had from your losses?
Uh, they don't mean anything. I
Like,
mean, it's just it happens. It's a loss, you know. Like, sure, you can feel down about it, but I mean, it's nothing that I carry with me. To be honest with you, it's tools of the trade, marks of the what you do. I mean, like I said, like I never looked at it as a career. It's I was good at it. I like doing martial arts in the first place. They gave me a chance, so I took it.
so do you think fighters take it too serious nowadays and they're not there to just to enjoy themselves?
Well, especially for the amount that they're paying a lot of fighters, which is and the way that we're not really completely insured or we have complete medical practices and stuff like that, and it's not guaranteed to make your money. Yeah, I think a lot of people are taking that way too serious. You know, it's like and if we do that, you become a slave to their rules, you know, and it sucks because then they get to monopolize the game. They get to pay fighters very cheap for killing themselves in the arena. And we're the lowest paid athletes in any sport in America right now. That's crazy.
So when are we gonna see you back in the UFC? Because you haven't really signed a new contract yet.
Yeah, I mean, they're still drug testing me. So whenever they want to resign me, that's up to them.
Well, you were smoking weed, so like, what if they come knocking? Because Nick
That's not,
Diaz got.
they don't test for that.
So why did Nick Diaz get banned then?
That's probably for some other stuff, but that's been,
Oh,
that's been
it
off
was.
the, for
Oh,
like
so
years.
if you
Yeah.
smoked. Oh, okay.
Before, yeah. I got in trouble for it before.
Yeah, when was that?
That was that was like after my Japan. That was like one of the Japan fights. My first Japan fight. I forgot who I
I
fought.
okay. And like you've had some iconic UFC walkouts across your career. So what was your thought process behind each one? How did you decide on those?
No, I don't really put too much thought into it, man. I just it's music that I like, so I say, hey, let's put this song on. You know, sometimes music that I usually train to, so I just pick the songs that I like.
No, like you dress up as like I mean, when you cosplay as those anime characters and all that, and you walk out to those like One Piece.
One Piece? No, I didn't do One Piece.
Oh, what's the guy with the hat like that? The little hat where it's like spinny, and then it's got like the
Oh,
pointy thing.
oh, that's just like a Chinese hat, man. That's a kung fu hat. It's the Chinese farmer hat.
But did you never walk out to no anime thingy?
No, never did. I mean, I dressed up like I bought a kimono in Japan and I walked out with the kimono on.
So do you think you were a big fan favorite going into all your fights?
Excuse me?
Do you think you were a big fan favorite going into all your fights? How did you accumulate such a good fan base?
No, I feel like it's a hit or miss. You know, some people want to see me lose, and some people want to see me win. But I don't know. I like I said, I don't like when it comes to the UFC and like the video games and like watching the fights and stuff and all that stuff. Like I really don't keep up with it, and I'm just pretty. I just feel like I'm one normal guy. So when people talk to me or interact with me, I just feel more approachable, and they're like, "Oh man, he's not whatever." Putting off. I just feel I don't know. I don't see myself as like a famous
Oh,
person
okay.
or like I know what I do and I know what I do it for, and I understand that some people might see me as like, oh man, like that's cool, he does this, but I don't see myself as that. So I guess it makes me very approachable, and people like that about me. It's more real, I guess, to them. I don't have to put on a show or act angry or tough.
So, what are you focused on most outside of art of fighting right now? Because, you are big into gardening and others. So, what are you into?
I do a lot of different stuff, I like playing music here and there. I do like gardening. We're running the IV business that me and my wife have. So doing that and hopefully thinking about expanding other stuff and looking for fights, honestly.
So do you still play the harmonica?
Yeah.
Like, the one that you play, the boom, 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 that one.
Yeah. I have quite a few. Yeah.
So, what instruments do you play?
Play a little bit of guitar and I've been I want to practice more. I haven't been practicing lately, but I had a lot of banjo and I want to practice on that a little bit more. I do play drums as well.
Yo, I got Paul. So, you have some notable gym stories. So, what was training with Jorge Masvidal like for you?
Jorge was a very good training partner. I was very young when I met him, so he took me under his wing, and like me and my brother, and he taught us a lot. A lot of good, and he was a very tough training partner. Like he was one of the first guys to start dropping me with body shots. Help me make me make sure I was doing my abs. And he was very like aside from a lot of stories and how we look at him too on the media because if people get like the wrong glimpse, or they just catch when the action's happening. He was a very moral person.
Was that when he was training with Colby Covington?
I didn't train with Colby Covington. I trained with Georgie Masvidal in my early years before I was a professional.
So, what year was that then?
I was like that was like from anywhere from the age of 15 to 17, 16.
So, from your early MMA career, you've had those, you were in those Kimbo Slice street fights. So, how did you get into that?
Well, that happened. I was introduced to a guy. Well, he actually started training at our gym. His name was Level Martinez, and like I didn't know who he was, but I guess he was like a leader of a gang of the Latin syndicates. And then we started training together, and I kept like tapping him out and beating him up. And he's like, "Hey man, you're pretty good, dude. Like, hey, you want to come and like make some money in some fights?" So I'm like, "All right, let's do this. That's cool." And so he takes me down to like where he lived, and they have like some host. They were hosting like the backyard fights there, and so I just picked up a few fights there to make a little extra cash.
And that was the same place where Kimbo Slice was hosting them.
hmm
So, how did you actually get into professional MMA fighting, transitioning from that?
well, I saw that it was available, and at the time I was doing those backyard fights, I was like 16 to 17. So I was just waiting till I was 18 so that I can sign up for my first professional fight. Because when I was around 17, that's when I met my manager. I met him at a gym and we were grappling. He's the one that actually gave me the Bruce Leroy nickname.
So, how did that nickname even come about? What does that nickname represent?
Oh, no, he just said I looked like the guy from the movie. And then like I'm like I didn't know the movie at the time because I was like young, and then like he just showed me the movie. So then I watched the movie. And then like, oh, that's Bruce Leroy. And then they just started calling me that from there.
And did you try adopting some of that Bruce Leroy persona from that?
Not necessarily. I've always been a fan of Bruce Lee and his philosophies. I feel I was more of a fan of the way he thought than the way he fought. So I think that's more what gave me my persona or my outlook on life is that I've always, it was from a very young age. I believe I was like 6 years old when I started listening to like Bruce Lee's philosophies or watching his movies. So that really was an eye opener for me and it always stuck with me, you know.
So, I mean, what have you learned from Bruce Lee that you take into your day-to-day life?
Well, the way that like he was always like no matter what, it was like you couldn't, he was always the same. You know, like he was always treating every situation with equanimity. Like he could get excited at one point, but also return in an instant to being calm. You know, and I like that, just like not being bothered in that sense, kind of like surfing the waves rather than trying to swim against the current.
And what's one quote that you tried living your life by, across since you're a young person to now? Is there one quote
Uh,
that stuck with you?
like oh yeah, I guess Bruce Lee quote. Well, obviously the water quote is great, but I think the one that stuck with me was like it was two quotes. He was teaching a student in Enter the Dragon, and he was like trying to help him focus, you know, and look for the real goal. So he was telling him it's like a finger pointing away at the moon. And when the guy looked at the finger, he like kind of slapped him on the head. It's like, don't look at the finger, or else you'll miss out on all the heavenly glory.
Oh, okay. Does that mean just don't be f focused on one thing and observe everything all at once?
Or yeah, or you can take it as in the sense where like how would you say the finger is kind of like the structure, or it's like the base, like the technique, right?
Yeah.
But if you focus on the finger or the technique all your life, that's all you'll ever get. The technique is pointing to the direction where you need to go so that you can, how would you say, free yourself, unravel.
Okay.
You know, because there was another quote that I read recently that kind of helped me understand that. And it was saying um, the difference between a master and a what you would call it, a competent technician is that the
Yeah.
master is a competent technician who learned to let himself go.
So do you think that's where you need to just take it that one step higher?
Yeah, or it's not necessarily higher. It's kind of just not, it's just letting it go. Letting go of the control of what you think you had in that sense. So for instance, like here's a good example, like a person might come up to you and tell you like, okay, the best punch to throw, the best most effective punch to throw is a right cross, right?
Yeah.
And let's say you got the best person to throw that right cross every single time. But let's say my jab keeps beating his right cross. So
Okay.
now that was never true then. That means the truth was subjective to his perspective. That means the ultimate truth is that whatever happens, happens. You cannot
And
predict anything. You cannot control anything. You can have the best right cross in the world and somebody's hook might beat you.
so that means, everything changes based on what the situation is.
Yes, I guess you can say that it's circumstantial. It's subjective when it comes to if you want real truth, you know, the only truth is that I don't care what you have is the best, is that I hit you. That's the only truth, you know.
And one last question before we go. Uh, what advice would you want to give to younger fighters or just the younger generation in general?
Well, really, martial arts is a wonderful thing to practice. It's a good way to get to know yourself and get a deeper look into yourself. So, if you're getting into martial arts, really, there is no goal. Don't try to do it for anything. Do it because it's something that you'll do for growth. As if you want to do yoga. Do you do yoga because you win a yoga competition? You know, do you learn how to meditate because you want to be the best meditator? No, you do this because it helps you. So this is the same thing with martial arts, eating healthy, and all walks of life. It's learning to learn yourself. So um, I tell that to those young martial artists that are getting started to do it. Find out why, and when the why becomes big enough, the how will fall into place.
And one more question. Like, you know, uh, why did you change your hairstyle?
I do it every once in a while. I just get it braided just to keep it out of the way sometimes.
So when are we gonna see the afro back?
A couple days probably.
Yeah, couple days. Okay. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me on my episode, and I'd love to interview you again so much. And I'd love to interview you again sometimes. Thank you so much, Alex Caceres.
Thank you.